More now on one of our top stories. Sky News host Sharri Markson has today been inside the synagogue that was firebombed in Melbourne last week. Sharri will have the full story and all the pictures tonight on her program, but she joins us right now live. Sharri, give our viewers a sense of the scene that you have witnessed today there at the synagogue.
Hi, Kieran. Well, I have to say it was quite a shock because we've all seen the footage from outside the Adass synagogue where I'm standing now, and you can see that it's been damaged, but you can by no means see the extent of the damage until you go inside. I was given that exclusive access this morning, and I have to say it has been utterly destroyed. A room that was once filled with people studying and praying, and children and families, it has been burnt to smithereens. It is destroyed. Hundreds of Jewish prayer books just on the ground. The smell of smoke was so thick, and it's just heartbreaking to see. And Kieran, it brought back memories to me as I walked through it of the kibbutz in Israel that was attacked by Hamas on October 7, 2023. As you know, I went there for the anniversary, and you walk through the homes in that kibbutz that have been burnt to the ground by Hamas. And now we've seen that here in Australia. It was truly devastating and definitely a shock to the system.
And Sharri, what's been the reaction to this shocking, act of terrorism, as it's been called by the Prime Minister, down now? We're hearing from the police in an hour from now with the formal confirmation we'd expect, but how is the community holding up in the face of that?
Look, already the Jewish community right around Australia was feeling so anxious and so frightened and fearful, really, because we have seen this increase in anti-Semitic incidents since the October 7 attacks over a year ago. It started right afterwards. We saw anti-Semitic chants on the streets in Sydney and Melbourne. Every week there's another incident. We've been begging, the Jewish community has been begging the federal government to show leadership on this. They have comprehensively failed to do that. It's now culminated in this appalling, heart-wrenching firebombing of a synagogue, a place of worship that has nothing to do with the Middle East, nothing to do with the war in Israel. It is the Jewish community that's being targeted here. And now I have to say, every Jew around the country is scared when they step into a synagogue. They are going to be worried about whether it's safe to take their children to a synagogue in the future. Going to Jewish schools, we already need armed guards outside Jewish schools. You know, the federal government has announced funding today for Jewish security, and yet they say that can't be used for armed guards. It's appalling. This government has been the worst government when it comes to dealing with this anti-Semitism crisis. The heart hasn't been in it from Anthony Albanese, from Tony Burke, from Chris Bowen, from Penny Wong, from any of them. And this is the situation we're in now, and there's so much anxiety and so much fear, Kieran.
And before you go, Sharri, if we can go back to that moment when this firebombing took place, obviously people were inside praying at the time. What have you heard in terms of how close things got to this being even worse than the situation you find yourself reporting on today?
Yeah, so actually one of the two people who were inside studying and praying when the firebomb took place, well, he's on my show tonight. I went inside the synagogue with him exclusively today. We're showing that interview tonight. And he was, you know, he's a businessman, but in the early hours of every morning, he goes into the synagogue to study and pray. He was there. He talks about how it was completely silent, 4 in the morning. And then suddenly he hears this loud bang, the glass shatters behind him. He knew immediately, this is what he says, we're playing it tonight, he knew immediately, he says, that he was under attack. He was so frightened that he ran out straight away. He left his mobile phone behind and he had to go find another mobile phone to call the police. So he was right there sitting next to the door when the attackers targeted this synagogue, which, as you say, we're now expecting this to be officially declared a terror attack. terrifying. It was so lucky those two people who were inside are still alive. This could have been an even worse tragedy. But again, I'm worried that something even worse will happen if we don't see tough leadership that we've been begging for over the past 15 months.
Sharri Markson, thank you for your report today. And our viewers, I've got to mention, you're exclusive tonight on Sharri, live 8 p.m. Make sure you join Sharri for that exclusive coverage of this shocking incident out of Melbourne. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time with Sharri tonight.